It's just too much some days, and I do feel like I'm gonna explode. We're about $65,000 in credit card debt.
I knew we had a few cards. I didn't know that we had 16.
That's a biggie. No, that's not possible.
It most certainly is possible, sir.
I definitely have a problem with spending.
We're in big trouble. Very big trouble.
Money, 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 money.
We have 3 children, Cameron, who is almost 10, Mary, who is 7, and Jennifer, who is 4. I've just recently started my own business doing bookkeeping. I am trained as a bookkeeper. We basically don't reconcile our own bank statements. Now I have very little idea of what my annual income would be.
I'm a doorman. I work at a hotel. I've been there for about 16 years.
I have been having difficulty with the home office. I think that I need to figure out a way to spend more time working. Stinger! He has said to me if he didn't love me so much that he wouldn't still be with me because of my spending.
Her losing her job was very stressful.
I felt that I was worthless, that nobody wanted me anymore. We need some new pillows. Shopping seemed to be the only way I could make myself happy.
Then give me a toy.
We do argue a lot.
I started hiding things when I brought them home. Our children are affected by what they have seen of my spending.
I want this. I want it now.
I think I need Gail's help desperately.
This month, I'll help this couple move from red to black. I've been solving money problems for over 20 years, tackling everything from high finance to low income. I help people understand money and debt, which is still a huge mystery for most folks. And it's the #1 reason couples split up. So now I'm making house calls. Elizabeth and Wojtek owe $65,000 on 16 credit cards. Elizabeth lost the job she loved 2 years ago, but couldn't stop spending the family into the ground. Now they fear it could cost them their house.
Hello.
Hello. I'm Gail Vaz-Oxlade.
Nice to meet you.
It
I'm
is
Elizabeth.
nice to meet you. It's a pretty living room. Simple, but nice. Stuff. 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 And more stuff. This is the family that has a lot of things. When I looked at your picture, this is what I saw. You're spending way too much money on your housing relative to your family income. You're compensating for the loss of your job with the spending, just as you said.
Right.
Okay? Wojtek, you're running at about 100 miles an hour, trying to keep the family on an even keel. You're tired.
Yes.
Okay. You lost your economic footing, and as a result, you're spending twice what you make every month.
Wow.
Wow.
That you are actually using 16 credit cards to supplement your income.
Right.
Catch. You too. That's it.
Yeah.
Keep going. Keep them up in the air. Oh, there are more. There are more. There are more. It's hard, isn't it?
It is.
It wears you out.
It sure does.
There's actually no way to do it successfully. The numbers don't lie. It's time to see what Elizabeth's uncontrolled spending has really cost them. Between your miscellaneous consumption and cash and gifts, that's 34% of your income.
That the 34 to 35% of our income was going towards stuff, not including food and other necessities. That was probably the biggest shock to me.
Here is the most frightening thing I found. You have a family income of $3,400 a month. You're making credit card repayments of $18,000 a month.
No, that's not possible.
It most certainly is possible, sir.
$18,000.
Oh my God. I just couldn't believe that.
Wojtek has been paying credit with credit, bouncing minimum payments from card to card. In all, he shifts $18,000 a month to keep the banks at bay. Problem is, the debt just keeps on growing. If you keep this up, in 5 years, you'll be $500,000 in debt. And you will have lost everything, including the house. Moving forward, we have a 3-point plan. We're going to take care of the credit card debt. We're going to take care of the disparity between your income and your housing costs. We're going to find a way to make more money.
Okay.
Tell me what else you want.
Well, we have my brother is getting married out west this summer. He's asked my little one to be a flower girl.
Right.
And he's one of my best friends. I would really like for us to be there.
Then the very next thing you have to do is get me your credit cards.
Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money.
Elizabeth and Wojtek have been using 16 credit cards to supplement their income, and now they fear losing their home. When Elizabeth lost her job, it only sped up her shopping addiction.
It really was the only way that I could deal with my emotions at that time.
Today, they owe $65,000 on their cards, a horrendous burden.
There's a nice pile of bills for you to worry about.
To fix it, they'll have to live by my rules. For the next month, this couple will learn to live on a strict cash budget. No more credit cards. They'll complete weekly challenges to tackle their money and relationship issues. And if they're willing to change, I'll reward them with thousands of dollars. No changes, no money. All right, guys, bring me your credit cards. You know these are going to the great beyond.
Here, I'll do it.
Really? Here.
It was such a relief to cut up the credit cards because I know that we're moving forward and we're going to be on a strict budget and hopefully getting out of this mess.
And now that they're out of the way, you're going to learn to live on cash. Fixed costs are things like your mortgage, hydro, taxes, things you really can't change. Where you can make a difference is on your variable expenses, cutting back on things like clothing, food, and entertainment. Right now, we're just going to deal with your variable costs. And we're going to go from about $2,600 a month in variable costs to about $1,450. So I'm cutting your costs by about 45%. Okay. You will have $75 a week for transportation, $17 a week for other stuff, $31 for entertainment. Ha! Have a party. Go ahead. Clothing and gifts, $37.50, and food, $200. Here we have the budget binder. Every time you spend a cent, you write it in the book. The trick is to get to the end of the month before you get to the end of the money.
Right.
And now how to deal with the debt. Wojtek has squirreled away $20,000. He hasn't used it to pay down the credit cards because he's pretty sure Elizabeth would just spend him back into the hole. He'd like to sell the house and downsize. But what would that cost? This week's challenge is what I call the debt reduction challenge. You have to get rid of this credit card debt. Now, I understand that you have about $20,000 set aside that's not in a retirement plan. I want you to take that money and I want you to apply it to your credit card debt, paying off your most expensive credit card debt first.
No problem.
No problem. Listen, man, I thought I was going to get a fight from you. It makes no sense hanging on to savings paying you 5% interest when you're paying 28% on a credit card. Wipe it out. Here I have for you a neat chart. And this will help you to prioritize what you're paying off and when. The next thing that I want you to do is I want you to assess the viability of selling the house.
I'm not at all looking forward to the possibility of having to move. It's still 18 and a quarter.
18.25.
So that one's got to be paid off. Is that the one that has 25?
I think it's to the max. 3% of that, $9.
Good calculating, wow.
Now that they have a plan, it's time to sell Wojtek's stocks.
Selling my stocks. Our stocks. Bye-bye. We're losing money because they're down.
But we're losing money in interest on the credit cards too. So.
It hurts.
With the debt repayment plan underway, they need to figure out if selling the house makes good economic sense. There's no point fighting about an option until you have all the information.
We've done the floor tiles, the countertops. We refinished the cabinets.
Wall-to-wall cupboards.
Yeah.
Wow, what great storage. Wonderful. Very nice, nice work. So if you had the sale price of your home, $325, your expenses are going to be the 5% commission. And legal costs, penalty to discharge your mortgage, about $1,600. You're probably looking at $23,000 to make a move.
Elizabeth and Wojtek, you were very busy taking care of your credit card balances this week.
This is our plan.
Wow.
I've got payoff first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth.
Did you sell the stock?
I did.
Tell me you're paying off the most expensive credit cards first.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You've done a good job. You're prioritized well. And I want you to execute. Now tell me what you learned from your real estate agent.
She said it would cost a lot of money to move.
Yes.
So that was good news for me.
But the high housing costs haven't gone away. So Elizabeth has to make more money. We're going to look forward to the next challenge, which is a future plan challenge.
Okay.
And that's where we get you back on track. Elizabeth, if you want to be successful in this home business, you got to put away the laundry and the dishes and make time to work.
Right.
So you are going to track your time over the next week in half-an-hour increments. Your challenge is to teach your kids about money so they don't make the same mistakes Mummy made.
I would definitely have to shoulder the majority of the blame for the situation that we're in today. I definitely have a problem with spending.
For Cameron and Mary, they'll each get 3 jars: saving, sharing, and spending. You will teach them about an allowance. For your youngest little tyrant, Jennifer, you're going to teach her about prioritizing. You get to take her to the dollar store. You give her $2, and when the $2 is gone, the $2 is gone. So have some fun. Coming up, can Wojtek reverse the influence Elizabeth's spending has had on the kids?
Hand over the money? Are you kidding?
Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money.
Wojtek and Elizabeth are living on cash and cutting expenses to tackle their debt.
Look, there's more money. It's hidden around the receipts.
This week, Elizabeth has to track her time to figure out where the day goes, while Wojtek has to teach the kids good money habits.
What if Mom doesn't have enough money for it today?
Just do it.
If they're successful, they'll earn up to $5,000 to keep the creditors at bay. Get yourself a good book that will help you teach your kids how money works.
When we go shopping, don't automatically expect to get a treat.
And give me a toy.
If you think begging may work, think again. Begging, crying, whining, and pouting. Oh, we're not buying that ball. Will have the immediate result of making me angry. Exactly. And so for charity, we're going to be putting away 5%, for savings 10%, and the rest go to spending.
I recommend giving kids $1 for every year of their age. Cameron is 10, so he'd get $10 a week. When you're teaching kids about money, keep the message clear. Help them set some goals and find ways to make it fun. As for Elizabeth, if she wants to keep that house, she's going to have to make more money to cover their high housing costs. But she's doing more dog walking, more laundry, more dishes, and more gardening than working.
I've tried to mark down how many hours I've spent working on each day. 3.5 hours this day, 4.5 hours that day. I'm not spending enough time working.
Okay, Jen, here we are at the dollar store. $2, woohoo, woohoo.
Crocodile.
Decisions. What does that do, Jen?
Oh, echo.
Oh, but she was really good and only chose the 2 items that she was supposed to. She's gonna really learn now that once her money is gone, it's gone, so she'll have to use it wisely. Painting section?
So Elizabeth and Wojtek, your kids did a fabulous job on these jars. Elizabeth, What did you discover having gone through this exercise?
I learned that I'm distracted by too many things.
If you don't block your time in a home office, the work just doesn't get done. And without more billable hours, Elizabeth may not be able to keep the home she loves. Your fixed expenses are high because your housing costs are high. Between your mortgage and property tax, electricity, gas, maintenance, and house insurance, you're spending $2,000 a month on housing. This represents 61% of your income. It should be no more than 35%. This week's challenge is your Budget Booster challenge. Elizabeth, you have to find a way to make an extra $500 a week. A week. Did you look at the budget I gave you? Okay, the deficit at the bottom is almost $2,000. And that means you have to make more money. You don't have to go out and make $500 this week. Okay. But by the time we're done with all of this, you should be well on the way to having an extra $2,000 a month.
I was really shocked at the amount. I think it will be difficult, but I know that I have to do it. I have to make this change to my life. I have to show the kids that this can be done and this is the better way to live.
So, guess what you have to do, buddy boy?
More dishes.
She now has a full-time job. She's just doing it from home. This week, you get to do the grocery shopping and meal planning.
My challenge is very scary. We've never planned any meals before.
Hi, classified section, please. I want to advertise that I'm looking for some bookkeeping work. What would the price be on that? I've spent some time making schedules. I ended up going a little bit crazy that one night stayed up all night working, and then the next day slept most of the day while Wojtek looked after the kids. And when I woke up, he was doing laundry and playing a game with the kids.
My turn? So for Sunday, what would you like?
While Elizabeth works downstairs, Wojtek and the kids plan meals for the week.
Ice cream.
Ice cream for dinner?
Yes.
How about for dessert?
Okay.
Over at the grocery store, it's 2 steps forward for Wojtek and 1 back.
We're looking for the skinless, boneless chicken breast.
He made a list. Good. He'll soon learn that chicken with bones is half the price.
Everybody's pitching in, and while we're shopping, Elizabeth is able to work on bookkeeping. No more left. Okay, thank you.
Coming up, has Elizabeth worked hard enough to save their home?
I actually put in about 18 hours. Hopefully Gail will be happy with that.
Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money.
Elizabeth and Wojtek have been juggling 16 credit cards and $65,000 of debt. This week, Wojtek had to shoulder more responsibility at home to help Elizabeth find the time to work.
Yahoo!
If they have succeeded, they'll earn up to $5,000 to take them from red to black. You've been scheduling like crazy this week. Show me your schedule.
Wojtek on days.
Wojtek on afternoons.
And then summer schedule.
Summer schedule. So you've taken every contingency into account, and you've set aside the time you need to work.
Yeah, I worked about 21 and a half billable hours so far this week.
Okay, good.
Definitely.
And how was it being Mr. Mum?
It was time-consuming.
Yes, it was.
Yes,
Sometimes it's nice to do the job and see what the other side does for a living.
exactly.
When I got here, you guys were headed towards $460,000 in debt. We have set aside in your budget an extra $1,000 for debt repayment. If you take $800 of that and apply it to your credit card, it's gone in 27 months.
Cool.
Wow.
So we've gone from owing $66,016 credit cards down to $20,001 credit card.
You take the other $200 and you put it against your mortgage. Not only will you trim 5 years off your mortgage amortization, you will save yourselves $40,000 in interest.
Fantastic.
Sounds good.
This month, Elizabeth and Wojtek worked hard on my 3-point plan. You learned that there is no joy in juggling 16 credit cards. You learned you can't spend money you don't have, and that to keep what you have, You have to earn a decent living, and that means setting aside an appropriate amount of time to work. I'm actually very proud of you.
Thank you.
So I have something for you, a check for $5,000 to pay down your debt.
Thank you so much. I've never lived thinking about being debt-free, and now that I'm focused on it, it's really nice to see that there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Now, did you have some plans for this money?
My brother's wedding out
Yeah,
west.
you want to go out west, eh? Well, that's just too bad.
Uh-oh.
You're going to have
Thank
to
you.
live with the reality that paying down your debt comes first. To ease the pain, I have some gifts for the kids, which they are going to need because we're giving you your trip to Vancouver.
No way.
No. Can you believe it? So you get to go and see your best friend get married.
You're awesome.
Hugs again.